It's for everyone to settle down while you enjoy the video. So this is a demo video of CREATANT. So please enjoy how beautiful it looks. Hey, don't be shy, you can come to the middle. Okay, we're on time now. Let's start. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm Cheryl Tong. I'm a startup supporter and angel investor. I'm the moderator for today's session. Welcome to CREATANT Digital Visual Arts and Innovation. This exciting event brings together the great minds and talents from around the world to share with you the latest in the creative industry. Whether you are a filmmaker, a photographer, a digital artist, an animator, or a creative professional, this is your chance to connect, to collaborate, and to discover the latest cutting-edge technology in the world of visual arts. We have invited two special guest speakers with us today to join us for the fireside chat later. But before we go on to that, let's welcome the host of today's session, CREATANT founder CEO Seraph Mamas, to address us.
Thanks for coming, and good evening. My name is Seraph Mamas, so I'm the CEO of CREATANT, and today I want to show you what we're building for creative industry, for designers, for photographers, and agencies. We want to build a platform which is an intelligent visual workspace for teams to focus on creativity and not clutter. So here you can see one of our users. His name is James, and he's a fashion designer from New York. He got his account in May 2024, and when I was meeting him, basically I was telling him he's drowning in digital clutter. So he gave up organizing already, and this was basically from the interview. He was using two different file managers, then bookmarking for online content. He was using basically his browser for collaboration, for video collaboration and sending quickly files, Slack and some other platforms. And of course, you see generative AI also switching between different platforms. And you can already see this is not manageable, this is not productive. It can be even more platforms than that a creative person needs to use. And just 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with him, and previously he told me from idea to production, it took him 6 months. Meaning you design a specific cloth, you collaborate with your team, and then until 6 months, it takes until you have basically a product. Now it went down to 2 weeks. So if you're very productive and you have better tool for visualization, this is the speed you can now get with productivity tools. And to explain the problem, you have actually too much data, fragmented tools, and you don't have much time. This is a research from Forrest and Adobe. And they were asking the users what are the top 2 pain points, and 68% were saying they're struggling to find and organize the digital assets. It's too much data already. And half of them are saying they struggle on collaboration and during brainstorming sessions because it's also connected to quickly finding something. Takes just too much time. And they were asking the users, what actually do you want? And 68% were saying we want an integrated, unified platform to be more productive. So the solution is you need to have your creative world in one place. Then you have your inspiration there, you can organize everything and you can collaborate. And then you can manage all your files and you can visually bookmark, everything goes into one place. We use also AI for auto-tagging on organization because nobody wants to do that manually anymore. And on top of it, you have instance AI search, which is now able to search across all your data like in seconds. And we have generative AI integration for inspiration, quickly generating some images you need. And you have now fast and seamless collaboration. And the benefits are, of course, you save a lot of time and money. Significant what is coming there together. And then here you can see competitors also based on interviews, what they are using. The gaps, what you can see on a table, there you are getting basically unproductive. Your data is scattered everywhere and you cannot collaborate. It just takes too much time. And having one platform also means you save at least 70% of your subscription costs. When we started CREATANT, basically users were telling us before we had anything, build something that looks beautiful. Because if we put our content there and we share something, it should be like a high fashion magazine. So we created a user interface that is just beautiful. Here you can see folders where you have your images, your videos, your articles. There's my research folder on Karl Lagerfeld. So you can put your notes here on every digital assets you can see here. And you can share and collaborate now in this very beautiful way. Here you can also see my music folders where you can collect everything, you can upload your own music, but this is also from YouTube. So you can now get some inspiration maybe for a new project. So this is how it looks like when you manage basically your music files. We have also musicians at CREATANT. So if you can also see how we can play several music, and then this is now managing content like never before. It's a very easy user interface. So you want to rearrange things, you just select like this and drag and drop. A very minimalistic, intuitive user interface. You can create mood boards. We have also architects and interior designers. One click from the folder, you go basically to mood board view. You can see also in fashion, it's also used. And then here, visual bookmarking on the right side, our browser extension, Instagram, just drag and drop, Spotify, drag and drop into CREATANT. You can play the music inside. And here, articles, we are also summarizing with AI. And here, you can also bookmark products. You can create immersive environments. It can look like this because we're dealing with creatives and they want to basically manage and make it look exactly they want to have it. Also works in VR, augmented reality. Auto-organization, nobody wants to organize anymore. One click, the content goes to the correct folders. This is for designers and agencies because we don't want to make any compromises. So you can put your 3D content here. You can rotate, zoom, high resolution. And this is, as you can see, you're managing digital content like never seen before. So you can now do things with your content and you can work with your content and collaborate seamlessly.
Thank you, Saraf. How beautiful was that? Thank you. Okay, next we will introduce our two guest speakers who will join us for the fireside chat. First, we have Kevin. You want to do an introduction of yourself while I play your origami in the background?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Kevin K. Ochi. I call myself a cross-disciplinary AI integrator, but what it means is like jack of all trades. I used to host many TV shows here in this country. I was a political pundit for a number of years. That led me to who I am right now. I'm a lobbyist, a consultant, and I run my own think tank. And we live in a very interesting time. Sam Altman recently made hinted that within 12 months' time, we will be reaching AGI. That's singularity, literally. So what does that mean? So we could discuss this like maybe later in our Q&A and whatnot, but I'm also a filmmaker. This film was shot many years, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it was actually first of its kind because it was entirely done in English language. And somehow, maybe because my good friend Gakuto is a big celebrity here in Japan, I'm sure Japanese most Japanese know who Gakuto is. He's in my, he plays a role, one of the key roles in this movie, and we were accepted by the Cannes Film Festival. So that was nice. So I would like to continue this journey. My passion is filmmaking, so I would like to pursue this, and I would love to work with people like yourself and others to collaborate to make more great movies. That's my passion.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we have Eve. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today and joining us in this little time about about AI and creation. So I'm a filmmaker. I've been here in Japan for almost 20 years now. I direct commercial animation films. I worked with different agencies. Now I'm working with agencies based in California, and we are developing AI content. So I do mostly computer graphics, and because I come from this background and I've been an animator all this time, I have a very special positioning about AI. Which is quality first, and if I can't get what I want with AI, then I would do it with CGI. And hopefully I can, I can play a role as a link, as a bridge between my fellow artists from the computer graphics and the AI community with who I'm in touch from a while ago now. Mm-hmm. And recently, I've worked on a music video for Snoop Dogg, official music video of Snoop, and I worked with the agency Door Brothers based in Germany. I did a few posts about that on LinkedIn, and one especially became like viral, I guess because I shared my working process that is interesting for AI users a lot, and I'm gonna share it with you right now. It's 2 minutes, enjoy.
Yes, let me go and start again. Well done. Great. Next, we will go on to our fireside chat. So today we have prepared 3 topics to discuss. So we try to spend 10 minutes for each topic, and we'll go through all three speakers to share their thoughts about this topic, hopefully within 3 minutes per topic. So let's just dive in. The first topic, how is AI currently influencing the visual arts? And what are the biggest challenges creatives face when they integrate new technologies into their work? Maybe we have Yves to start.
Yeah, so I would say the biggest challenges with AI, definitely in my industry, is to get something exactly what you want, exactly what you need. There is a conflict between being the guide to the machine. We are used to have total control on the outputs that we create. And with AI, it's really difficult to get exactly what we want. So far, it's easy. We have to find a way to adapt. Like when you can't get exactly the shot that you want, then you have to adapt and find other solutions. And that's quite frustrating at the moment. A lot of artists, a lot of traditional artists, CGI artists are complaining about that. They don't want to hear about AI because of that reason. I have this talk with my friends every day. But personally, I think it's more control is coming. Kling AI, for instance, has introduced some sort of guidance where you can guide the motion more easily by tracing the way the character will move. So it's coming. They are developing these tools, and we are helping them also implementing this kind of control. For me, it's just a matter of time until we have full control on these tools, and it's really easy, easing our use, our way to make content creation.
So watching your video just now, I was wondering, so were you actually writing those storyboards to transform that? I mean, using AI platform to do that? Because I'm still, on a learning curve right now. But so my idea is like still photos, painting, illustrators. Now it's going, like, you will need verbal skills, so to speak. You need to text. I mean, if you're using, I haven't used too much of that, but you got Sola, and what else we got? Midjourney and that DALL-E. You have to sort of like verbally express yourself. That means like you need literal, how do I say, ability to sort of describe. So you're turning into more or less, you're kind of like turning into a novelist or a scriptwriter rather than actual expressing your visual ideas or images to the canvas. So that's why I'm kind of like, and then when it comes to like movies and film production, what would that mean? If you could sort of answer that for me.
Yeah, so I think, of course, the wording are important, but for me, this is such a very tiny part of the work. Like it's like 10% of the work. Most of the work goes to the choices, the art direction, the choices of and the vision, and trying to stick to the original vision. So then the words come to try to get that vision right. That's why I use storyboarding, because for me, that's the way to clear my vision before to start anything else. And I didn't use the storyboard like in the way I would feed the AI with my storyboard. It's becoming more possible recently, but it's not yet very clean. So it was mostly for me to have my ideas clear before to start. And then from there, I can start prompting and start iterating on my ideas. But yeah, so most of the work I would say still is the art direction and the having the ideas clear, which is like clearly a direction job.
Sarah, if you have anything to add?
So in the Snoop Dogg video, the scene of Yves was basically my favorite. But I did not know the details before the creation. So this was even more impressive when I first saw that. And then I also understood you envision something and use basically AI as a tool to bring it into life without having, let's say, much production cost, because you can do it. Still, there's a lot of effort there. I can see the details and it's not easy to create such a video in a specific scene. As you have mentioned, it has a lot of flaws, it has inconsistencies, so you need to be very patient, iterating and recreating again. So I personally see AI more as a, let's say, companion that can help you quickly creating something. Also, I see it as an inspirational source. But ultimately, it's the creative person who envisions something and wants to bring it into life. He already knows, what to do, but it starts with the inspiration part, where sometimes you might go to nature to get some inspiration, or you look to some other creations to get inspiration to create something new. And AI is like an unlimited source where you can basically use some text prompt and then get some ideas what to do. It might go to the right direction, but ultimately the artist is the one who's directing everything and then also creating it at the end.
Kevin, any last thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
That's good enough for me now.
Great.
For now, yes.
Okay.
Still learning.
Let's move on to the next topic. Kevin, get ready because you will start first. What advice do you have for creatives looking to leverage on technology to enhance their storytelling, yet maintaining a personal artistic touch in their creative work?
Just be yourself. You see, just harness the technology and be yourself, because AI cannot be you or replicate you. Because I have this whole vast theory that I kind of follow. If you've ever heard of Donald Hoffman, he's a professor emeritus at the University of California, Irvine. And he's got this incredible, he's like bringing the whole panpsychism and idealism back to science. And he's brought this Markovian dynamics, a new advanced, it deals with probability and whatnot, but it's a new mathematics, and he's bringing that to the table, and it's incredible. And I'm a follower of his studies, and I also have different ideas from him. And at the end of the day, AI is not going to, so basically AI will never become, so even Elon Musk, he's expressed his fear, concerns about AI becoming conscious or turning into a Terminator or whatever and destroy us. But that will never happen because AI is a thing. There's no way, because see, consciousness only emerges when there's life form, and life form needs game. There's got to be a game to be able to be a life form. Unless, I mean, if you're hungry, you need to go after food. You want to reproduce, you need to sort of date. That's the game. So the game theory is the most essential sort of a platform, for creating consciousness. There's no mind. I mean, there's no game. There's no life. There's no life. There's no game. So I'm just like sort of bringing. So at the end of the day, AI will never become you. AI is just a thing. It's just like the table or something like that. The only fear that there's a chance, if I were to say, Elon Musk's Neuralink, if you know what that is, Neuralink, if all of us got connected to Neuralink and start transferring our data to Neuralink, that could eventually lead to something similar to, it could form a consciousness to some extent. But again, it's a averaged universal consciousness. It's not you or me or any of us individual. So I think what you need to do is to harness the technology and just be you, and then you'll be fine. It's my piece of advice.
Great, thank you. Eve, you have any comments on this topic?
Can you quickly remind me what is the question, please?
Okay. What advice do you have for creatives looking to leverage on technology to enhance their storytelling, yet maintaining a personal artistic touch in their work?
Storytelling. I see a lot of content recently where people use AI because it's AI, and I see also a lot of artists and a lot of non-artists who get amazed by stuff that is really not so good quality just because it's AI. And I feel at the moment there is a big hype with this tool because it's a tool. It's nothing else. It's a great tool, but it's still a tool. And there is a big hype where the storytelling is kind of forgotten, and people are like, "Wow, that's so cool," and it's so genius. And the reality is that it's not. It's not genius at all. It's just not so good quality. And people from my industry get upset all the time because of that. So I understand them. And at first I was upset too. And now because I'm also using the tool and I'm trying to join the two worlds together. And definitely my positioning is to help people understand what is filmmaking. Eventually in the end, you have what? You have a screen, you have a 2D image, and whether it's done with AI, with computer graphics, with a camera, nobody cares so much. They are just watching something and they want to be entertained, they want to be touched, they want to feel emotion. So that's the most important thing for me, is to raise the voice. Like, at least there is my voice on social media at the moment where I can say, okay, the most important is storytelling, is to touch people. It's not the fact that you use AI. So is the content great or not? That's the most important.
Thank you. And Sheriff, anything to add?
Last year I was more excited, to be honest. But for me, all this AI generation person is very boring because it is not exciting me. It's not just because it is generated from, let's say, a machine. I cannot see basically a human behind it. I still see it like an inspiration source. So basically, we humans, we take that inspiration source and we make something out of it. It can come from this kind of source, but it can also come from the nature. It can come from random places. So what I think is, first of all, we will be definitely more productive, and we will be also more creative, because creatives, they need quite a time from the inspiration to produce something, and this time can be reduced drastically. And they might get an inspiration which we're maybe not thinking about, and suddenly they have an amazing design or amazing product they were not thinking of. So I had a moment when I was in Paris in a museum, and I was getting lost watching just the painting of Van Gogh. So we know in AI can also generate this very quickly, but I never have this excitement I had at that time. And I was staring at it like for 1 hour, basically following the painting strokes and the journey of that artist. And someone really had to drag me out of that situation, because time passed very fast, like in 5 minutes. So all this AI generation, yeah, I like it. It looks like interesting, but I don't have the excitement. Yesterday, I was talking with a musician in New York, and he was also composing with some well-known celebrities in the US. And when I was telling him what he thinks about music generation, he was laughing very loud, because he was saying, the music that is generated there has nothing to do what music composing is about. So how normally a music composer is creating work of music. So basically, he was saying it cannot transport emotions. It can also not trigger us and touch us.
Okay, thank you. Before we move on to the final topic, let me share with you, there is a QR code on the top right corner, if you can see. There's the QR code that you can scan and enter the early access registration for CREATANT. So Sheriff will be sharing with you all the materials today, including the recording to you. If you sign out there, he will be able to reach you. Okay, without further ado, let's move on to the last topic. And if you have time later, we can also proceed with some Q&A. So the last question is, how do you foresee the relationship between creatives and technologies evolving in the next decade? Sheriff, you can start first.
Actually, this is going on for quite a time already. So when Photoshop coming out, like in beginning of the 90s, there were similar discussions, like, will we not draw anymore per hand, and digital will basically take over, will change also the way how we're designing. But we saw it's ultimately a productivity tool, and we can be fast at creating things, and we can be maybe also consistent drawing something. So I think, yeah, how it will evolve is it will make us, as mentioned, more productive and helping us also with inspiration. So I don't think it will take the work out of us, because ultimately it also has no taste. So it does not understand taste, it does not understand feelings, our environment, our humans. So it cannot transport basically what a real artist wanted to transport to the audience. So that's what I think.
If
So the future of the interaction of tech and the artist. I think for me there is two important words I see in my mind right now. It's instant and ego. So why instant? Because I imagine that in the future there will be zero friction in the skills that you use. Like you can simply chat with the computer and say, hey, can you give me a scene where the chariot is like landing kind of harsh on the pebbles in a street of Paris? I want to see, you know, the sky with the clouds, and use the complementary color of blue and yellow to give a nice touch and a little bit vintage. And you have a talk basically with the AI. Yeah, for which artist is it? Oh, it's for Snoop. Okay, then I will do that way. Do you like it? No. Can you give me like 3 other iteration? Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's nice. Can you make it move a little bit different? And that's how it's gonna be. I can imagine it's gonna be like that. We won't even like type the words or anything. We will talk with the machine. This is one very cool thing, you know. Eventually, when we are a creator, we all dream of that. And why ego? Because until now, when we are an artist, we basically learn these skills. We learn how to draw, we learn how to paint. And there's a lot of ego going inside this, because we build our personality and the belief of our self-worth and self-value based on that. That's why there is so much friction now with the artist, which I totally understand, once again. And I want to help, you know, ease this transition. But I can see so much suffering, you know, because people are like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna be like useful again anymore? Or so I have all these friends like always, Yves, please in your post remind people that this kind of skills is like 20, 30 years of learning, of hard work and drawing and learning the art, you know, history. And yeah, it's true, but it's why do you need that, you know, that recognition? Like eventually, this is a great tool. So that's why I think ego also is a big friction at the moment. And let's see how we're going to deal with that.
that's right, Kevin.
So I have a bit of a different perspective on this. At the very beginning, I talked about Sam Altman making that announcement, hinting that they will be reaching within 12 months' time. By probably before end of next year, we're going to see AGI, artificial general intelligence. That's singularity. From that point on, they're equal to us, and they will reach further. I mean, eventually, it's exponential. So at that point, I know there's an issue with LLM, you know, large language model, and then Sakana AI is working on something else. There's a lot going on, of course. But putting that aside, you know, we are, and then this is one of the reasons why Elon Musk jumped on this occasion. He jumped with Donald Trump to sort of oversee and, you know, Doge, you know what's it called? Department
of Government Efficiency.
I'm sort of like also working on Doge AI that works on other countries as well as Japan. Japan, as you know, the politics is kind of messy right now, which is a great opportunity, by the way. Same thing goes to, you know, Elon jumping, you know, seizing the moment, you know, working with Trump. So not too many people are aware of what's going on. Next year, the whole world is going to look different. I hate to say this is true. Most, not only us, but most Japanese are not aware of it. I can tell you that. You know, Japanese are not, because they're kind of shut off from the rest of the world. language barrier and all that. So, but it's really going to change. And of course, AI will be able to emote. It's different from what I mentioned about the data structure and the fact that AI could become us. There's no such thing. I don't think that's going to happen. But AI will be able to emote and touch our, perception and our emotions. So that's going to happen. And so maybe next year we'll see another Shakespeare, AI Shakespeare, or Van Gogh. Who knows what? That could happen, I think. But again, AI will never become us. That's for sure. That's why I kind of mentioned. So last, answering to your question, I think going forward for filmmakers like me, there's a blur. The role of producers, scriptwriters, and cinematographers are blurred because of this, because of the technology. So we need to quickly come up with a good business model, a new business model, to sort of define what roles and how we can share revenues and whatnot. Because obviously producers could be AI generator. Would I call him a scriptwriter, or is he a cinematographer? He could be a cinematographer, but it's so totally blurred. So there's I think if I collaborate with Yves, we could be partners. We could do 50-50. I come up with the idea. He could generate the visuals, and maybe that might be the way forward. I don't know, but that's what we're going to be experiencing this point on, and next year is going to be great.
I agree. World Expo. Yes. So, Sarah, anything else to add?
But coming to this, actually, AI is also democratizing the whole environment. Imagine now you're talent, you want to make a new movie, but you need a budget. So basically, you need someone who is able to finance you the whole thing. So basically, with AI and less budget, you will be able to, what you envisioned and what, the story you want to tell, you can bring it live, let's say, with cheaper and much faster. So I think there will be a lot of young artists will be able to express themselves much easier, and also they can put on YouTube and also monetize. And of course, on a professional side, I think they will also use AI, but the standards will be much higher. But for the other artists who don't have all the opportunities, they will use this technology to show their talent and what they are capable of. This is what I'm thinking.
It's hard to imagine, really. I've been thinking about that. I see AI like computer graphics at the very beginning, like in the 1995 something. People were like, "Oh, it's really uncanny," and yeah, it's the same. So nowadays, when you see a computer graphics film, you are not touched the same way that you are when you watch a film with actors. So yes, many people will have access and can create their stories and do nice content, but is the audience really react positively to that? Or I don't know. It's a question mark. I'm like, maybe people might be tired of it. Maybe people say, AI, especially because you're gonna have like so much of it. It's already kind of happening on social media, oh yeah, I've seen that like 1,000 times. So I don't think actors will be replaced. I'm in the same line of thinking as Ben Affleck was saying a few days ago.
I saw that too.
I don't think it's gonna replace anything, and I even have doubts still, like if the audience really will adopt that or not. It's still a question mark. Maybe it's gonna become just like another tool, computer graphics, AI films, illustration. But the hype, when the dust is coming back, is falling down. Like the hype is gonna come down, and then you'll have like it will be equalized. That's my thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just lastly, it will create a different different value chain. So it's kind of like Birkin brand. Is it handmade or is it Birkin or whatever? I mean, in the brand. So if it's handmade, it's it's going to be valuable, right?
Precious.
And if it's not precious, exactly. And then if it's not, it's made out of AI, then it's different. So that's the value vertical sort of like value chain that we're creating actually. And
I definitely think the same.
Yeah.
Like what is human made will have more value in the future than what is made with AI.
Now that's a matter of differentiating them, right? Maybe as a technologist, you have some idea on how to differentiate AI generated and non-AI generated artwork?
For me, it's more helping the artists and the creatives. So basically, ultimately, they decide how they want to create something, the whole process. On my side, also believe the same, that the craft will get more important, the artist will get more important, also storytelling will also get more important, because we want to know something about that artist, and is this then starting touching us? It doesn't need to be perfect, because if something is perfect, it's also boring. And if you use AI the whole time, how do you want to distinguish yourself? So you can distinguish yourself with your personality, with the story behind it, with all the suffering and the time you spent into it. To be honest, I was already impressed, for example, on the Snoop Dogg video, you have created a specific scene, but when I saw, when you post on LinkedIn, the work you put into it, oh, this was like mind-blowing for me. So therefore, I was not surprised that that part actually went viral.
Yeah, there's the storytelling.
Yes.
This is
Story
storytelling.
behind this. Yes. AI does not have a story. So story is the brand.
Yeah, so we can imagine that some artists will be famous by always showing, why they are creating the stuff, why they are using AI that way, like what is driving them, and maybe they will show also behind the scene, like themselves thinking about it, and that's how I think in the future you can really build a community by showing the context, showing the story that goes with your art, more than just the art itself, because the art itself will be just like another art. I can already feel that, like with just a few posts. I've been into digital marketing for 10 years, so I know about content, I know what people like, I know they love the making of and this kind of stuff. So every time I have the occasion, I do making of, because that's when people really connect with you and they want to talk with you, and then that's the human connection behind the art that is important.
Great, we are ahead of time, so we have some time for Q&A, but before we jump onto that, let me remind you again, on the top right-hand corner, there is a QR code there. Scan the code and register for the early access. Today's materials will all be shared with you by Sheriff later, if you are registered on that code. Okay, so let's open it up to the audience. Anyone have any burning question to ask? Please just, just ask. Lisa, you have anything to ask? No? Okay, anyone? Go ahead. It's the famous Robert. Bob's son.
Bob's son.
Yeah, Bob's son.
You were mentioning when you were creating the Snoop Dogg video, you were fighting the AI. I assume you gave some sort of a brief to program, and then during the point of the creativity, it's as if the AI had a mind of its own that it wanted, and then you were fighting with it to get what you wanted?
Yeah,
I mean, had AI learned 100 years of cinematography and it had its own idea that didn't match your brief? So I'm sort of curious what that fight was that you were.
Yeah, it's not exactly like that. It's not like a brief. It's more like you give a description of the shot, and the AI, the model. The storyboard follows. No, the storyboard is for me. The AI gets only words. And maybe one still image as a driving reference for your shot, but the way it's gonna move is by words so far. And this shot was very special because I made the way it's going to move between keyframes, between two images instead of one image and a text. So I had more control like that. But when you use the words, it depends on.
AI was interpreting your words in its own way, in a sense?
Yeah, I would say it depends on the model and how it was trained. You have different models. You have Runway ML, Luma Dream Machine, Kling AI, Minimax. And depending on how they are trained, they are more or less good at what you are describing. For example, Flux now is a new model that was trained on a lot of content, and the description you give is so precise. You can write like 1,000 words, and it will really follow exactly what you say. So it really depends on the model. But I was fighting in the way that, some complex movements, you can't get exactly what you want. It's too precise, and the AI is not good enough to understand this precision. That's why I was fighting, and eventually I used different images to drive the motion. So I was sure, just like you do with animation, when you need a contact in the motion, you need to have this as a keyframe. If you miss that as a keyframe, then the arm might miss the table. So you need absolutely to have this as a keyframe. And I used that psychology with AI too. Okay, if I want the AI to show the touch of the chariot, then most likely I have to make it a keyframe. It's more like that. So it was a fight in that way that, yeah.
Creativity is conflict. You need conflict. I mean, you're always fighting in your mind, and that's creativity. So one last thing I could add is, people like back in the day, maybe like a few years ago, all the Japanese mom were like trying to motivate their kids to go to school and learn programming. Hello, no programming needed anymore, as you know. So I guess the last man standing, the last subject that would still remain after AGI, there's only one subject. Would you know? I mean, at college, you can go to college, you could go study anything, but sociology, psychology, economics, you can study. It won't mean anything because I'm not a promoter of Neuralink, but if you get like even, search engines, they'll give you, the stupidity of these academics, they're like, what do? They try to have this AI detector when you either take a test or maybe when you're like submitting your, thesis and stuff like that. They have this thing called AI. That's ridiculous because at the end of the day, it's going to be inside your head and you will never need to learn anything. But there's only one subject that remains. What do you think that is? Anybody? Philosophy. Practice of philosophy. That's the only one that AI will not be able to compete with us. That's the only remaining thing that we kind of like could hold on to as a human being. But I don't know. Things are going to really drastically change next year, and you could see that with the United States government going, next year when Trump gets inaugurated, and things are going to look completely different. I'll tell you that for sure. We're going to be living in a different world.
Great. You want to make a comment, Sheriff?
Regarding that topic?
Any topic.
But I can make maybe a small comment on this. So we still don't understand basically our reality and the physics behind it. So if there is, I would not say AGI will be able to do that. Maybe the next step, like the super intelligence, maybe in 20, 40 years. So it will understand the reality better than us, and then it might create a new philosophy we might not understand at all, because we don't understand even how physics right now work and also the consequences out of that. So I think over time we will also change our philosophy in different direction. So it will be still very exciting times in the next 10, 20 years. But on the practical side, so for example at CREATANT, I have a logo. It looks very, very simple, the font. I was literally going through 600 fonts. It took me like 2 weeks to find the perfect font where I was thinking, okay, this is now representing what I want to do. And then we have basically a favicon, which is also created from a real designer. At that time, of course, there was AI not good enough, but I would still hesitate to do it with AI. I still have sometimes sessions with with our users who want to see how they can use basically AI for logo creation or inspiration. So the process is actually quite interesting. It is not able to go have the complex thought processes we have when we're designing something, but there is always something which you say, okay, this goes to the right direction. I have also something in my mind, but ultimately you end up with Photoshop creating the logo yourself. For example, also the design, you saw the visual I have created, took me quite a time. It was a lot of iterations, so I did that also with Photoshop. But I also got some inspiration, you know, from 90s design magazines and grunge design magazines especially, where I took certain components as inspiration, also used some AI to get some additional inspiration and ultimately created it in Photoshop. So it helped me to produce this also faster.
Thank you. Okay, we have 5 minutes more, so I'll let both Eve and Kelvin to speak briefly about what they are planning to do next in their creative work. So maybe Eve, you go first. Oh, one more question? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Going back to your keyframe process, are you feeding the keyframe imagery into the model, or are you just using text prompts?
So you have the possibility to give one image as an input to guide the generation. And on some different models, you have the possibility to input one image and another image for the end of the sequence. That's only what you can do with image feeding at the moment. And you add your text to guide the motion. That's all.
If you had a ideal solution for your workflow, given the limitations you've encountered, what kind of solution would you like to see in the upcoming?
Definitely more keyframe. Definitely more possibility to add more images in between, like in betweens, yeah.
Thank you.
Is it writing all that instructions exhausting?
Exhausting?
Write all those instructions?
I can tell you much less than animating by hand. You know, like if I had to animate, someone said on the social media, dude, at this point you better off animating it manually. And I was like, yeah, maybe animation I would have needed the same amount of time, but what about modeling, texturing, lighting, compositing, layout?
Eve actually shared with us that for the Snoop Dogg content, he was able to do what he used to be only able to do in 6 months in just 2 weeks. Right?
I mean the full sequence, not only that shot, yeah.
Okay, just share with us briefly what you on next, your creative work.
What I'm on next? Yeah, I wanted to try to take one of my first animated film that I did in 2003, and to remix it in a live action cool way, just for fun, just to have a side-by-side comparison to what the AI is capable to. That's my next little test.
Interesting. Kevin?
Collaborating with you guys to make a presentation at the next year's Expo 2025, Osaka, Banpaku.
Yes.
I have some ideas. My next film is going to be generated by AI, and I will definitely love to work with you guys for this project. And then I'm also working on, I'm got a lot on my plate. Yeah, I told you about the Dodge AI, and then parenting AI, of course, in order to sort of mitigate the toxicity of parenting, because indoctrination is actually not a good idea for kids, especially between the age of 0 to 7, because of the brainwave. There's so much science behind this, but I can go on and go on about this. But anyway, parenting robot is something that I'm also working on. It works for single mom. It works for 80 parents, actually. So that's something that I would like to explore, maybe with you guys as well. I've already have some unit team of AI guys engineers to work with me, but we could work on this together, maybe.
Great, thank you. Okay, Sarah, any last words before we end the session?
So on my platform, for example, there would be zero AI if it is not coming from the users, because ultimately I'm not deciding it. But last year I was not even making topic out of it because I did not know, reactions and everything. So every piece what I have built with image generation or also the other AI features was actually coming from the users. They are very high profile from the industry, designers, musicians, people in agencies, on advertisement. So I was actually very surprised last year how fast they were adopting it. So I had not even a chance to think about it. So I'm working right now on the next things, which is like music generation and video generation. Video generation is a little bit tricky. There we need some additional things. It's not really scalable, and not happy so much about that part. But everything else works really well, and it's evolving also very fast. It is really like last week, one foundation model was the best. Next week, again, everything changed. So it's going incredible speed, and next year, I think it will just continue like that.
Great. What a good time to live in. Okay, so after this, there will be a networking session near the drink bar. So please join us there for about half an hour, 1 hour of networking, and you can continue to ask the panel speakers, as well as I'm sure there are a lot of experts hiding in the audience. Let's just have fun and see you at the drink bar over there. Okay, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Good job.